My speech today centers around a single ayah or sentence of the Quran. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, sentence number 31,
وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ فَقَالَ أَنبِئُونِي بِأَسْمَاءِ هَؤُلَاءِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ.
and he taught Adam the names, all of them. Then he displayed or paraded them to the angels and said, inform me of the names of these if you are truthful. This is a very peculiar and strange statement, and I hope to shed some light on its meaning today. Some Muslims, when they read this ayah or sentence without thinking deeply, might believe that the part of this sentence that says,
وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا,
and he taught Adam all the names, is useless and does not add anything to the overall meaning of the story. They said that it would have been understood from the context that Adam had learned the names before he was tested. Let's start at the beginning of this story about Adam so that we can better understand the sentence. Allah says in the Quran, and mention, O Muhammad, when your Lord said to the angels, indeed I will make upon the earth a successive authority. They said, will you make upon it one who causes corruption therein and sheds blood, while we declare your praise and sanctify you? Allah said, indeed I know that which you do not. And he taught Adam the names, all of them. Then he displayed them to the angels and said, inform me of the names of these if you are truthful. They said, exalted are you. We have no knowledge except what you have taught us. Indeed, it is you who is the knowing, the wise. He said, O Adam, inform them of their names. And when he had informed them of their names, he said, did I not tell you that I know the unseen aspects of the heavens and the earth, and I know what you reveal and what you have concealed? When you read this story, you may wonder, what are these names that Allah taught to Adam? What does Allah mean when he says that he taught Adam all the names? What is the significance of the word all? Does it simply refer to all the names of the creatures that Allah displayed or paraded in front of the angels? Or does the sentence mean that Allah blessed Adam with a special kind of knowledge that he never taught to any other human being or messenger? Did Allah teach Adam the names of everything that he created and teach him all the languages that mankind would still invent and use until the day of judgment? This may appear to be the meaning of the words that Allah used in these sentences, but does it fit in the context of the whole story? Does it make sense that Adam would be taught languages and words that mankind hadn't even invented yet? There are many flaws with this way of thinking, and we need to dive deeper to these sentences in order to understand their true meaning and value. You may be surprised to learn that Allah didn't bestow any more knowledge on Adam than he does on a newborn baby. In other words, the moment Adam was created, he didn't have any more knowledge or skills than a newborn baby. Now, let's look at the sentences that make up this story individually and critically analyze them. In the first sentence of the story, sentence number 30 of Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says, and mention, O Muhammad, when your Lord said to the angels, indeed I will make upon the earth a successive authority. They said, will you place upon it one who causes corruption therein and sheds blood, while we declare your praise and sanctify you? Allah said, indeed, I know that which you do not. We learn from this first sentence that Allah told the angels that he would create on the earth a Khalifa, which means a successor, new authority, and leader, and that this new successor would be Adam and mankind. However, we are surprised to learn that the angels were confused why Allah would choose to create mankind. They asked Allah why he would create a successor that causes corruption and sheds blood when they themselves were a better candidate because they were blindly submissive to Allah's will. However, when we look at the life of Adam, we see that he was a messenger and prophet of Allah and he didn't kill or corrupt anything or anyone. So, the angels' problem couldn't have been with Adam himself. Could their problem therefore been with his wife Eve? Again, when we look at her life, we see that she was also a very righteous person who didn't kill or corrupt. So the angels' problem couldn't have been with her either. However, when we look at the offsprings of Adam and Eve and the generations of humans that came after them, we see among mankind corrupt individuals that deceive others and shed blood. Therefore, we can conclude that the angels didn't have a problem with Adam or his wife, but with the offsprings and the generations of humans that would come after them. And how did Allah respond to the angels' concern? He simply told them that He knew what they did not. This brings us to the focus of our speech. Allah says in the next sentence, sentence number 31, and he taught Adam the names, all of them. Then he displayed them to the angels and said, inform me of the names of these if you are truthful. From this sentence, we learn that Allah taught Adam all of the names and then presented some sort of creatures to the angels and told them that if their claim that they were a better candidate to become the successor of the earth is true, then they should be able to tell him the names of the creatures. However, in the sentence, Allah uses the Arabic word thumma to describe the amount of time that passed between when He taught Adam all the names and when Allah presented the creatures to the angels. In Arabic, this word thumma is used to say that a substantial amount of time passed between two events. So the two events in the sentence could have occurred many years apart. The angels respond in the next sentence.
قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم.
They said, "Exalted are you. We have no knowledge except what you have taught us. Indeed, it is you who is the knowing, the wise." From this sentence, we gain some insight into the limitations of the angels' abilities. They say that they have no knowledge except for what Allah taught them, which means that they were created with a certain amount of knowledge and are unable to search for and gain more knowledge on their own. In other words, Allah gifted each of the angels with the knowledge each of them has without any effort from their side, and this knowledge did not include the names of the creatures Allah presented to them. After the angels respond, it is Adam's turn to take the same test and show his superiority over the angels. Allah says in the next sentence, He said, "O Adam, inform them of their names." And when He had informed them of their names, He said, "Did I not tell you that I know the unseen aspects of the heavens and the earth? And I know what you reveal and what you have concealed." Before we can dive deeper into the meaning of this sentence, we have to first understand what Allah meant when He told Adam to inform the angels of the names of the creatures. I believe that the word names in this sentence refers to the characteristics or attributes of the creatures. This is similar to how each of the 99 names of Allah describe one aspect of Allah. For example, Ar-Rahman tells us that Allah is the most merciful, and Al-Alim tells us that Allah is the all-knowing. In other words, when Allah asked Adam for the names of the creatures, He may have asked him to describe the physical traits and behaviors of the creatures. So for Adam, it seems like it is a trivial test. Adam has been given enough time to be curious and discover his surroundings, and when Allah displays the creatures before him, he already knows their names, so he simply announces them to Allah. Now, the strange part of the story is that after this simple test, the answer to the angels' question of why mankind is the best possible successor becomes very clear to them, but not clear to many of us. How does one human knowing the names of some creatures explain the superiority of all of mankind, despite the fact that mankind will cause corruption on earth and shed blood? Let's try to understand by first discussing the linguistic meaning of the words al-asma'a kullaha. These words simply translate to all the names. But why did Allah choose to use the word all? How does the meaning of the sentence change after you add this word? If you take a chicken, for example, its name in English is chicken, its name in Arabic is dajaja, its name in French is poulet, and so on. All of these are names that can be used to describe the same creature. So the literal meaning of this sentence is that Allah taught Adam all of these names. Therefore, Adam should have been able to speak all the languages of the world, both modern and ancient. However, this doesn't make much sense because these languages hadn't even been invented yet. So there has to be another meaning for this sentence. I believe that Allah said He taught Adam all the names so that we could understand the extent of Adam's intelligence and linguistic capabilities. Nowadays, many people believe that the intellectual capacity of humans has grown since Allah created Adam, and that if Adam was alive today, he wouldn't be considered intelligent by our standards. However, I believe that this sentence proves this assumption incorrect. I believe that when Allah said that He taught Adam all the names, He means that He gave Adam the ability to understand and comprehend each name, word, and phenomena that we have discovered throughout our entire human history. In other words, if you were to take Adam from the moment he was created and raise him the same way we raise a newborn baby, there would be no difference between the maximum amount of what they could comprehend. If you put Adam in an English-speaking environment, he would learn English. And if you put him in a Mandarin-speaking one, he would learn Mandarin. And if you tried to explain to him a complicated concept, such as algebra, he would eventually understand it. This is what is meant by Allah when He says that He taught Adam the names, all of them. Now, let us recall from the story that there is a direct link between Adam's knowledge of the names of the creatures and the reason he is a more suitable successor than the angels to lead the earth. If Allah had simply gifted Adam with the knowledge of the names of the creatures, then the angels should have asked Allah to gift them with the same knowledge, and then they would have been a better successor because they don't corrupt nor shed blood. So, how does Adam knowing the names of the creatures make mankind a more suitable successor than the angels? I believe that the answer to this question lies in the fundamental difference between the angels and mankind. Whereas the angels received their knowledge directly from Allah without any effort on their part, Adam was created with something different and unique: free will. The angels only listen to Allah and can't choose to take any actions on their own, but we humans are able to make our own decisions and perform our own actions. And because of this free will, Adam was given something truly miraculous: the ability to be curious, search for, discover, and gain new knowledge on his own through the mercy of Allah. And this is what made him a better successor of the earth than the angels. So, in the long period of time between when Allah created Adam with this curiosity and when Allah asked the angels for the names of the creatures, Adam was left alone to wander about and discover what was going on around him. During this time, he must have come across the creatures that Allah would eventually test him on and looked closely at their attributes, characteristics, and behaviors. However, we as humans only ever assign names to what we see so that we can communicate and share our findings with other humans. If Adam had been alone when he was curious and looking around at his surroundings, why would he have assigned names to what he saw? The answer is that he couldn't have been alone but was instead in the presence of another intelligent being, his wife Eve. As the two of them discovered more about what was going on around them and wanted to share with each other what they found, they must have created a basic language using sounds and words to communicate their discoveries. So, now that we understand why mankind was a more suitable successor than the angels, we must also wonder why humans are a better successor than any other species that lives on the earth. At first thought, it seems obvious. We are simply intelligent while other species are not. But is this true? Allah gives us two clear examples in the Quran of the intelligence of other species, specifically the ant and the hoopoe bird, a bird that resembles the woodpecker. In Surah An-Naml, sentence number 18, Allah says,
حتى إذا أتوا على واد النمل قالت نملة يا أيها النمل ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون.
Until when they came upon the valley of the ants, and ants said, O ants, enter your dwellings that you not be crushed by Sulaiman and his soldiers while they perceive not. And also in Surah An-Naml, sentence number 20, Allah says about the hoopoe bird,
فمكث غير بعيد فقال أحطت بما لم تحط به وجئتك من سبأ بنبأ يقين.
But the hoopoe bird stayed not long and said, I have encompassed in knowledge that which you have not encompassed, and I have come to you from Sheba with certain news. Both these examples show us that other species aren't as unintelligent as we first thought. In the case of the ant, it was smart enough to realize that the Prophet Sulaiman and his army were marching towards it and the other ants, and that if they didn't retreat to their homes, they would be crushed. Not only that, but the ant was smart enough to know that if Sulaiman knew that the ants were there, he wouldn't crush them. And in the case of the hoopoe bird, it was smart enough to travel from Palestine to Yemen and return back. And when it returned, it assured the Prophet Sulaiman with certainty that it had news and information from Yemen that even the Prophet Sulaiman didn't know. And in both examples, both the hoopoe bird and the ant were smart enough to communicate their thoughts. So, what does the Quran tell us in the short story of Adam about what differentiates the human species from all other species on earth? The key again is the word all in the part of the sentence that some of us thought before has no value, where Allah says, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا, and He taught Adam the names, all of them. Allah also taught other species and gave them intellectual capabilities to comprehend certain aspects of their surroundings as we discussed before. But what makes us unique is that we are the only species on earth that Allah taught all the names. This means that Allah gave us unique linguistic and intellectual capabilities to comprehend everything we come across. even the most complicated subjects like biology, chemistry, calculus, quantum mechanics, etc. When our strong and flexible tongue muscles were combined with a very unique and complicated brain intelligence, our human knowledge became so broad, deep, and accumulative from one generation to the next. If you take any mentally healthy human being and try to explain to them any small part of a complicated subject like algebra, they will eventually understand it if you give them enough time, even if they are the least intelligent human being. However, no matter how much time you spend with a chimpanzee, dog, or member of any other species, you will never be able to get them to understand the concept of multiplication and that 5 times 6 equals 30, even if they are the most intelligent member of their species. This is how I understand it when Allah says that He taught Adam all the names. One last point I want to mention is the beauty of the Quran in general. It has taken me around 15 minutes just to explain the underlying meanings of a single sentence of the Quran and how it fits within the context of the sentences around it. And even now, I can't be certain that I have fully understood it. Subhanallah, the Quran is unlike anything that has been written by mankind. It is unparalleled in its meanings and its structure. It is so simple and appears to be fully understood if read by a simple person. But the more you read the Quran and dive deeper into the meanings of the sentences, the more you draw connections between the sentences and begin to understand the bigger picture, and the more you feel that there is still a lot you need to think about. Compare the Quran with any other book that you read once, understand, and then leave alone. Even though the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad 1440 years ago, not even today's scholars and scientists are able to claim that they understand all of its meanings. All of mankind will continue to draw more meanings from the Quran until the Day of Judgment. As Allah says,
خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ عَجَلٍ سَأُرِيكُمْ آيَاتِي فَلَا تَسْتَعْجِلُونَ.
Man was created of haste. I will show you my signs, so do not be in a hurry.